In a bombshell that has sent shockwaves through South Africa's political and law enforcement spheres, a high-ranking police officer has stepped out of the shadows and dropped allegations so explosive, the country is still reeling. This is not your ordinary squabble within the force. This is a direct challenge to power, a bold, defiant move from a man who claims the system is rotting from the top. And the person in the crosshairs? None other than his own boss, a top government official deeply embedded in the heart of South Africa's security architecture. What began as murmurs behind closed doors has now turned into a full-blown national scandal, one that threatens to tear apart what little public trust remains in South Africa's policing institutions. The man behind the bombshell is a seasoned officer, a respected veteran of the force, someone who has served in some of the most dangerous and sensitive roles in the country. Known for his discipline, courage, and no-nonsense approach, this top policeman was always seen as a straight shooter until he decided to aim his weapon at the very command he once obeyed. In a carefully timed press conference, flanked by his legal team and a handful of former colleagues, he stood before the cameras and laid it bare: corruption, abuse of power, interference in investigations, and a culture of fear and intimidation perpetuated by the very men tasked with protecting law and order. He didn't mince his words. He didn't dodge the bullets. He named names. He described how critical investigations were allegedly sabotaged from the top. How whistleblowers within the force were silenced or reassigned. How certain politically connected individuals received tip-offs long before raids were executed. He even suggested that classified evidence was tampered with or outright destroyed to protect high-profile figures from facing justice. The most jaw-dropping part. He claimed to have documented proof, emails, voice notes, and confidential memos, linking his boss to multiple instances of obstruction of justice and politically motivated policing. Within minutes of the press conference going live, social media exploded. Hashtags trended nationwide. Citizens, tired of crime, corruption, and a government seen as too cozy with the powerful, flooded platforms with outrage and support for the whistleblower. Memes, voice notes, and even songs celebrating his courage started circulating like wildfire. But alongside the praise came panic. Who else knew? Who else was involved? And what would the political fallout be? Inside government corridors, the response was swift but chaotic. The official at the center of the storm, his boss, initially dismissed the claims as a fabricated nonsense and accused the whistleblower of harboring a personal vendetta. He painted the move as an act of desperation by a disgruntled officer facing disciplinary hearings. But that explanation didn't hold for long. Within hours, leaked documents began surfacing online, corroborating at least parts of the whistleblower's narrative. Screenshots of emails, photos of meetings that were allegedly never meant to be seen, and voice recordings of top brass discussing how to deal with the heat began doing the rounds. Opposition parties seized the moment. One prominent MP stood before Parliament and thundered, "How much longer will South Africans be held hostage by a criminal network hiding behind uniforms and suits? This is not just about a rogue officer, this is about a system that rewards silence and punishes truth." Calls for a full independent investigation mounted, with activists and civil society groups demanding the immediate suspension of the implicated boss pending the outcome. But the drama didn't end there. In a twist worthy of a Hollywood script, it emerged that the whistleblower had been under surveillance for weeks. According to his legal team, he narrowly escaped what they described as a suspicious attempted break-in at his home just days before going public. CCTVs were tampered with. His car tires had been slashed. Coincidence? He doesn't think so. "They wanted to scare me into silence," he said. "But I've seen too much. I couldn't carry it anymore." Insiders within the force have started whispering, some anonymously, others more bravely, confirming that the culture described by the whistleblower is indeed real. Some spoke of dossiers that vanished before they could be filed. Others mentioned entire cases that were shut down mid-investigation without explanation. A senior prosecutor, speaking off the record, said, "There are cases we've been sitting on for years, not because we don't have the evidence, but because we were told from above to let them go." As pressure mounts, President Cyril Ramaphosa finds himself in an impossible position. Already criticized for perceived inaction and soft handling of corruption, he now faces a defining moment. Will he side with the whistleblower and order a sweeping cleanup of the police command, risking political allies and potential fallout within the ANC? Or will he stall, hoping the fire dies down as it often does in South African politics, with time and spin? What's certain is that this is not a story that will vanish. Not this time. The public has tasted the truth, and it is hungry for more. Trust in South Africa's police has been dangerously low for years. Community policing forums report frustration from ordinary citizens who feel ignored, targeted, or victimized by those meant to protect them. Crime is rampant. Gender-based violence is sky-high. Corruption bleeds through the system like ink in water. And now, with a brave voice breaking ranks, the floodgates have opened. If these allegations are proven true, we're not just talking about the resignation or arrest of one powerful individual. We're looking at a seismic shift in the country's justice landscape. It will demand accountability from the top down. It will demand reform, transparency, and above all, protection for those who dare to speak truth to power. And if not, it will mark yet another betrayal of the South African dream. To everyone watching across the country and beyond, stay alert. Because this story is far from over. The storm is only beginning to gather, and in its eye is a nation still searching for justice, still waiting for its heroes, and still hoping that one voice, just one, can crack the system wide open. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, truth always finds a way.